So, my dear Jordi, you're the founder of Destination Spain and Portugal, and today you have a lovely program for us. I think you call it a baptism of Spain, and it's for you need 15 days, but then you're going to have a glance of Spain that you probably won't forget. Huh? Can you tell us more?
Sure. Let me share my screen, and
so we're going to see three cities, and of course there is more to see.
Exactly. Well, basically, last time we discussed about what to explain about Spain or Portugal. We have been sharing with you experiences. We have been sharing with you things to see in different places. But today the idea is to share with you an itinerary. This is a time structure when visiting Spain. And first of all, well, I call it a baptism of Spain. Probably this is a good itinerary for first timers or for people who have not been in Spain for a long time. This itinerary, of course, misses many parts because this is a diverse country, but it will give you the essence, the flavor, character of the city, of the country. It is structured in 15 nights, but of course it can be then adjusted to maybe 10 or 12 or maybe longer. It depends the capacity and the time that travelers can have for this trip. First of all, just for you to have a reference, it's important to see that Spain approximately is the size of Texas, just for you to have an idea of what we are talking about in terms of distances. And this baptism of Spain, I call it like this because it covers three very differentiated regions. The first one is Castilla, and we will set the base camp in Madrid for 4 nights. Then we will move south into Andalusia, and we will settle in Seville and Granada for 6 nights. That's the ideal time. And finally, we will fly north into Catalonia, and we will settle the base camp in Barcelona for 5 nights. This is an itinerary that contains everything: architecture, historical heritage, gastronomy, wine, Jewish heritage, museums, art collections, whatever you can imagine, probably we will find. Of course, these can be tailored to your specific interests and requirements. And this is just an image of what we are talking about. We land in Madrid. This is the order I really recommend based on our experience. It could be done on the reverse way, but I think it's good to finish in Barcelona and depart or return from there. Okay, and let's start. So we start in Madrid, where we land, the capital of Spain, a lovely and very, very active city. It's about 5 million citizens. And in Madrid, we have structured the time in 4 days. The first day to visit the center of Madrid, what is called the Austrias and Bourbons districts, because these are the 2 dynasties of kings that configured this part of the city. It's very nice, full of life, as you can see. This is Plaza Mayor in Madrid. But then we also have to visit the Royal Palace. It's a nice visit, especially the kitchen. If you go there with us, you will visit the kitchen. But if you don't go with us, just make sure that whoever shows you the Royal Palace asks to visit the kitchens of this palace. Of course, along this visit of Madrid, which is a half-day walking tour, we will have some stop at places like Chocolateria San Ginés for chocolate and churros, very traditional and very typical in Madrid, or maybe at San Miguel Market. It was formerly a fresh food market, but today is a place for gatherings, restaurants, bars, tapas, whatever you can imagine, just for fun and meeting people. Second day in Madrid, we will move south, about 1 hour drive, into Toledo. Toledo is a very important city in the history of Spain, and today is a symbol of coexistence of 3 religions. Jews, Christians, and Muslims lived together in this city for centuries. And you will find synagogues, mosques, and churches and cathedrals in this small village in the south of Madrid. Very nice visit. But this is only a half-day visit. Toledo, we can spend the whole day there, but with half a day it's enough. And then we have the afternoon, maybe to visit one of the art collections in Madrid. Prado Museum is top museum in the world. It's one of the top museums of Europe as well. And there you have works by Velázquez, Goya, Rubens, Tiziano. I mean, it's really a king's collection of art. But if you are more into contemporary art, I would invite you to visit Reina Sofia Art Center, where you will find works as important as the Guernica by Picasso. This is an impressive work. And in the same day, still the second day in Madrid, we will have time for some fun and enjoyment with the local gastronomy. One of the best places to taste the Spanish jamón, or going out for tapas, and where you have to check every place you go, the board, what they have for offer of the day, from seafood, preserves, cured meats, and different doses of food. And I invite you in Madrid, where they are specialized in escargots, very spicy and tasty. I'm not sure that everyone will like them. Okay, here we are in Madrid again, and today is day 3, and we move north. We move north to visit 3 places. One is Segovia, the other one is Avila, and the third one is El Escorial Monastery. Segovia, it's a city originated more than 2,000 years ago, as it is demonstrated by the big Roman aqueduct that crosses the city. It's impressive, and just watching this aqueduct is worth a visit to Segovia. But Segovia also contains one of the most important castles in Spain, which is the Alcázar, of Arab origin. So it's about 1,500 years ago, but has suffered several remodelings along history until the shape that it has today. A little bit French style, I would say, but important to visit. Also in Segovia, I invite you to discover the traditional Castilian gastronomy. The roasted suckling pig is the most typical one. And the fun thing is that when they are prepared, you have to cut it with the dishes, not with knives and forks, but with the dishes. This is how it works. And then we will move into Avila, another city of Roman origin. The wall that you see surrounding the whole city is a Roman construction, 2,000 and something years of history contemplates you. And I like to see and visit this city because it's like within these walls, inside these walls, life has happened and history has been occurring for more than 2,000 years. And it's a lovely city to just walk through. Finally, after Avila, we are still north of Madrid, we will get a little bit south into El Escorial Monastery. Why is this so important, this monastery? Because it's big, because it's a monument? Well, actually not. The important thing is that this is the place where all the Spanish kings are buried. So it's the pantheon of the Spanish dynasties. But the most important thing is that historically, the monks in this monastery, which were thousands of monks, they became the think tank assisting the Spanish kings to configure, to design what Spain is today. So it was a think tank in the 16th and 17th century. Finally, we are in the 4th day in Madrid, and I would leave this day for free because Madrid deserves just walking through the city. It's very lively and very active. But if it happens that you are in Madrid on a Sunday, do not miss El Rastro Market. This is a market that has been in Madrid for more than 400 years, and you will find everything here. Everything you can imagine, everything you look for, everything you would like to buy one day, you will find this in these streets in Madrid. It's a large market, so count to be spending at least 2 hours visiting these streets. It's a nice and unique experience. And then, well, this is the map that shows all the movements, north and south of Madrid. And I also wanted to share where to stay in Madrid. Well, in the yellow dots, you will see the places of interest. This map is where the important things of Madrid are. And in the red dot, you have the hotels that I would suggest. Of course, we have the Four Seasons and the Mandarin that you all know very well, the service they provide. But if you look for a more local flavor, I would recommend the Principal. It's a 5-star hotel, delicious, very well located. Or Deer Hotel, a 4-star, and Catalonia Las Cortes Hotel, another 4-star. We also have the hotel, The Only You. It's a 4-star hotel, but it's a little bit up in this map, so it could not fit in the picture. But that's also a very recommendable hotel for you. And then from Madrid, we move south. We move into Seville by high-speed train, and Andalusia is my favorite region. It's the most charming, where the people is more friendly, and people just are happy to be alive. Here, I would spend 6 days in Andalusia. First in Seville, and then in Granada. And from Seville, we would use the city as the base camp to explore Cordoba, to explore Jerez, and explore Ronda, as it follows. This is the map that shows you the timings and the means that you can use to move from one place to another. Seville. Seville is the most rich city along history of Spain, because all the gold and silver from the American colonies came through Seville. And that's why this is a very rich city with an incredible heritage. In Seville, in a half-day tour, I will invite you to visit the Royal Alcatraz. This is the Calipha's palace, beautiful, awesome, and is the official residency of the Spanish kings when they visit Seville. So it's a palace in use. We will also visit the cathedral. Well, why the cathedral? Why another cathedral? Spain has thousands of cathedrals, yes, but this is the #1 cathedral of Spain. It's the largest one, and it was built with all the, let me say, the funds and the money that arrived from the American colony. So it's a very rich church, and it happens that also Columbus, the discoverer, the sailor, is buried in this cathedral. Then we will do a walk across Santa Cruz district, the former Jewish district of Seville. And here is where you will get the true flavor of the city. Orange trees, flowers everywhere, and a nice atmosphere of people in the street just sitting and having fun and enjoying some tapas and enjoying some food, or just meeting others. You can also have some time to enjoy the romantic Maria Luisa Park and Plaza de Espana in Seville. It's a beautiful building, half a circle, and with a little river in it, and is where people in Seville love to go just to have some relax while they walk. And then when the sun gets down, it's time to get to a more naughty area of the city, which is Triana District. Triana is across the river, and the people from Triana feel themselves not as civilians, but as Triana people. They are different. It's the place where the people who were not allowed to enter Seville in medieval times had to live at the other side of the river. But today is a very lively area. Here, I would suggest that you go for a dinner overlooking Seville from the other side of the river, or getting lost in the narrow streets to stop and sit in a table with some, to have some food and drinks. And why not to enter standing by the bars for tapas. The same tapas as in Madrid. Some of them are the same, but here you have to try the fried fish called pescadito frito, very traditional in Seville and delicious. And don't be afraid by the picture, but if you want a true, genuine experience in Seville with Carmen, the lady on the right, she is a 60, nearly 70 years old lady in Seville. She doesn't speak English, but she will teach you how to cook the best Andalusian food. It is a fun experience along an afternoon or a morning, and I promise you, it's a lot of fun. It's not a nice atelier where you have all the tools and fires and everything to cook. It's just her house, her pots, her pans to prepare everything as she does every day. Lots of fun. And if it happens that you are in Seville in April, all the visits in the city of Seville will be organized around the Feria de Abril. It's the most important celebration of the city along the year. It's a festival of color, of music, of sherry wine, people dressed for the occasion, lot of horses, and dancing all the time. This happens every year in April, if COVID allows, of course. Okay, day 6 from Seville. We will spend one day into Cordoba. It's a round trip from Seville to Cordoba and back. Cordoba was also the second city where the Khalifa lived, and it has the most important mosque in history until today, when other mosques have been built around the world. But this one has been for centuries the largest covered mosque in the world. It's a UNESCO heritage site, and it's beautiful to be inside, is what you see. But we will also walk across this city with very narrow streets, which configure the Jewish district of Cordoba. For Jewish people, most of them are aware that Cordoba was one of the most important Jewish centers in the medieval times. It was Toledo near Madrid, it was Cordoba near Seville, and it will be Girona when we talk of Barcelona in the north of Spain. These three cities were very, very important Jewish centers in medieval times. And if it happens that you are in Cordoba in May, you will have the chance to see the dozens of patios of the houses decorated with flowers. There is a public contest, which is lovely to visit. 2 examples of how they decorate the patios with flowers. And I would not miss, neither in Cordoba, a lunch at Bodegas Campos, one of the best Andalusian places for discovering the Andalusian gastronomy. Good. And then day 7, we will move south from Seville. Cordoba is north. We will move south into Jerez de la Frontera. Why many towns in this area are called De La Frontera? Because these were frontier towns, that because the Muslims dominated Spain for 7 centuries, and the Christians were reconquering Spain step by step. And every time they could recover a town, they called it the name of the town by the frontier. That's why they are all called De La Frontera. So these were border towns, and they have a special flavor. Jerez is the capital of the land of bulls, horses, and sherry wine. That's the reason we would move down into this area. It's a very flat area, beautiful, with a strong Arab style in the construction. And we will have the opportunity to visit a sherry winery with tastings. We could do that in the vineyards, if you wish. We will visit the Royal School of Equestrian Art to see how the horses dance. The Spanish horses are Arab breed, which are considered probably one of the best breeds in the world for horses. And then just driving across the roads and the fields of this area, you will see bulls everywhere in freedom. Of course, with a strong enough fence to avoid them to harm you. Across this area, I like to show places like Vega De La Frontera, another town by the frontier. If you see this picture, maybe you see, oh, how nice, but I want to see 3 details. First, on top of it, on the right, you see like a fortress. That's an Arab fortress. This was an Arab defense place against the Christians in the reconquer. Then it was reconquered, and of course they built the church on the left. But the town is all around either the castle, the Muslim castle, or the church. The other thing I want you to notice is the mountains in the far end. Behind those mountains, you have the Strait of Gibraltar. So Africa is right there. So this is a nice area to just go by the car, stop in a town, have a drink, and see the landscape. It's just beautiful. And that's why probably the Arabs didn't want to leave the country. Okay, and then We continue our itinerary across Andalusia, and we also see towns like Arcos de la Frontera. It's like Vega De La Frontera, but this is Arcos, beautiful town. The same stories. And then now we jump one day and we are already in day 8. We will depart from Seville into Granada, but we will devote the whole day to a journey from Seville to Granada across Ronda. And on the way to Ronda, we will go across several towns, the towns of Grazalema Mountains, white towns in the mountains. I've been a little tricky because usually the landscape is not so green. It's more brown and dusty, but in spring, in April and May, you will see this green color. This is Zahara de la Sierra, not de la Frontera, de la Sierra, it means the mountains. And here, if you wish, we could stop for a tasting of olive oil, something that they produce in big quantities and in great quality. We will continue through Grazalema, which is the town that gives the names to these mountains. And at the end, we will be, sorry, the name does not appear entirely, is Cetenil De Las Bodegas. Look where they build the houses, where you can have some drinks and try the wines that they produce. This is the space that the waters of the river carved in the rocks, and is where people live. So it's really, well, it's a lively town and nice to visit, nice to stop, nice to drink the wines they produce. And then we reach Ronda. Ronda is a very special town in Andalusia, a very old city. Older, we have remains from before the Romans even. But it's impressive because it's a town built by a cliff. And of course, we will be able to visit this town. But one of the things I would invite you to do here is to walk across the town, but then spend time on a easy ride horse across the mountains around Ronda and the valleys and the gorge and everything, and stop for a picnic or for appetizer and for tasting wines, sherry wines or local wines, which are red wines, in the Sierra de Ronda. And from Ronda, we will continue into lovely Granada. Granada is unique probably because of this immense fortress, the Alhambra that you see in the picture, but it's also unique because the city has been preserved very well as it was in Arab times. Here, what we will do is, in the next day, because we will arrive late in Granada, but in the next day we will visit the Alhambra, the fortress, in a half-day visit, but then in the afternoon you will be taken into the Albaicin district, which is what you see. This is seen from the Alhambra, and this is the place where the Arab artisans lived. All these artisans worked for the Khalifa or the Vizier living in the fortress. And the houses here are like they were 500, 600, 700 years ago. So we will invite you to walk across these districts. These are Morisque houses, as we call them. And from there, you will have one of the nicest perspectives of the Alhambra. Of course, you will have already visited inside the fortress, but looking at it from outside is also very nice and lovely. In the evening this day, we will be taken with a transfer into Sacramente, the sacred mountain near one of the hills of Granada. Here there were caves where the poor people lived, as you see in the painting, the drawing on the right side. And on the left side is how it looks today. But in these caves, it happened one magical thing. This is how they look today, but people lived here for centuries, is that here's considered one of the birthplaces of flamenco dancing into these caves. So this day in the evening, you will be taken here for a genuine flamenco show in one of these caves, which will be a lovely thing. And when they dance flamenco, they are not on a stage. They are maybe 1 or 2 meters away from you only. The next day, after the exhausting visit of the day before, we will have time to explore the city of Granada at all, and we will visit the Alcaiceria Arab Market, which is in Granada. We may have time to visit the places that they do genuine leather works, very high quality offerings, and the Royal Chapel. Why is important the Royal Chapel? Well, it is important for us because the Catholic kings, the ones who sent Columbus to unveil the routes in the ocean, they are buried here. And for the Spanish history, these kings marked the starting of a very important era for Spain. So where do we recommend you to stay in Granada? Well, I would say to be in the heart of the city, you have Eurostar's Cathedral, a beautiful hotel. It's modern style, but very nice and very good service for a 4-star level. This is how it looks inside one of the rooms. But if you want more luxurious stay, then you have Palacio Los Patters. It's a hospice hotel, beautiful. It has this old part, which is, let's say, with a lot of glamour, but then you also have like the picture that you see here, but it has a modern part where the rooms are also very bright, but in a modern building. So you can decide. The service is excellent. We also have here, if you want to be in the heart of the Arab houses that where the artisans live, you can choose places like Hotel Casa 1800, Hotel Casa 1800, where you can have a small room like this in a very old house overlooking the Alhambra. This is how it looks, the hotel. Charming, small, they only have 12 rooms. So imagine. So some people prefer this. And we also have the National Parador in Granada, a 4-star, very good service, spacious, and right by the Alhambra. So right by the fortress, uphill. This is how it looks. Also, I didn't mention the hotels in Seville. In Seville, a unique experience is to be at Alfonso 13 Hotel. The hotel is a jewel. It's one of the most sought after hotels in the Marriott chain, and the interior is just an experience. It's worth just to go there for a visit if you are staying in another hotel, but the hotel is beautiful. But personally, if I had to recommend one, I would say stay at Casas del Rey de Baeza. It's a 4-star. It could be a 5-star, but it doesn't have enough space to be considered a 5-star, but the service is more than a 5-star hotel. But this is like living in a true civilian house of the 17th century. Look how it's inside. Here is where every door is one of the rooms that you will have in the hotel, and the service is excellent, full of patios. It's an oasis of peace in the heart of Seville. Well, and this is for the Andalusia part. We have been in Seville, visiting Cordoba, Jerez, Ronda, and Granada. And then from here, we will fly north. It's worth to take a plane into Barcelona. And in Barcelona, I suggest to spend there 5 days. And on the day of arrival, this is an overlook of Barcelona. On the day of arrival from Granada, in the afternoon, I would invite you to a gastronomic tapas tour. Dominique knows very well these tours. She has been in several times in one of them, and you will discover the old city of Barcelona while you enjoy the different foods, not only from Catalonia, but from other parts of Spain. This tour goes across the Gothic District, the medieval part of the city, with some Roman parts like this gate, and King's Square. I like to explain that in this square is where the Catholic kings received Columbus after her first return from America. So it's a place full of magic. The second day in Barcelona, we will, of course, devote time to explore Gaudí architecture, visiting Sagrada Familia. I must say that today, the central part of this picture is already higher than the towers. So it's really, we are reaching the end of the building. This is the interior, which is magic. And then we will also visit Parc Güell, the garden designed by Gaudí for his main sponsor, the Count Güell. And here I wanted to show you different pictures from the traditional ones of Parkway. It's a magical garden. Gaudí had an incredible imagination and was fascinated by nature. This is how it looks like. But we will also spend time visiting the Hospital of St. Paul. This was a hospital built in the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. And these are 12 pavilions, modernist style, every pavilion dedicated to a different disease. They were in isolated pavilions so that the disease could not spread across the hospitals. And all these pavilions are connected with underground tunnels. It's a lovely experience, nice experience, and very interesting. The white building in the back is today's the modern Hospital of St. Paul. On your own, you can explore other places like the rooftop of La Pedrera, also by Gaudí, or Palau de la Música, which is a beautiful music box by a modernist architect. Third day in Barcelona, we will move north into Girona and Figueres. Girona, why? Because Girona was, together with Cordoba and Toledo, one of the most important Jewish centers in the medieval towns in Europe. So important, imagine how important it was that the state of Israel paid for the reconstruction of this Jewish district. This is part of what you can see in Girona, in the medieval part, the Jewish center, very important center for Jewish religion people. And if it happens that you are here in May, there is also a flower season that all the city is decorated with flower, all the streets. But then from Girona, we will move a little bit further north, half an hour further north into Figueres, where we have the Dali Museum, a very special place. And I would say not a regular museum, something that will surprise you. And we can also visit Dali's private home, which is the one that you see here, another magical place, which is next to this Anglers town of Cadaqués, one of the most beautiful towns in the coast north of Barcelona. Okay, and then fourth day in Barcelona, we would invite you for an electric bike tour across vineyards. If it's in spring, you will see the special green color of the vines. If it's in September, it will be when the harvest takes place. What you see in the back, that mountain is the famous Montserrat mountain that we will visit the next day. But this day, after the bike tour across vineyard, which takes 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, then we will stop by Gramona Biodynamic Vineyards, which is a winery, state-of-the-art winery with very special approach to vineyard, how they take care of the vineyards, they produce wine. We're totally integrated with nature, with no use of any type of chemical products to protect the vines. And then we will get into the cellar to see and do a tasting of their best products. They only produce top quality champagne and wines. This is level -1, and these cellars, for your information, have up to -4 levels. This is Mr. Gramona at work, checking the production of this year. And at the end of this visit, you would have a gastronomic lunch together with a tasting of 4 or 5 different wines of this winery in the noble saloon that they have in the winery. This is a unique experience, I promise. And finally, in Barcelona, we would go one day out for a hiking in the very special nature of Montserrat at the time that we visit this monastery that has been here for at least 1,000 years. 2025, they will celebrate the millennial. This community of Benedictine monks have been here for 1,000 years. You can go up using the aerial cabin, and you can go up or down using the cogwheel train. It's a fun experience just to go up by one or the other, or combining the two means to go up. Then once we are up in the monastery area, we can do 2 things. We either stay in the monastery area exploring, wandering around. They have a very important art museum. You can visit the Chamber of the Virgin. You can listen to the boys' choir, which is probably the most high-level boys' choir in Europe, together with the Vienne boys' choir. And if you want to be more active, we can go and explore a little bit the mountain. This is the easy way. As you see the pathway, it's very easy, or we can do the hard way, which it takes a lot. But we also have the emergency option, which is you go up the mountains with the cable car, and once you are up, everything is flat. So what I want you to see across these pictures is that the mountain is very special, is a unique nature formation, and you would love just to walk across this part of the mountain. From the top, if you're or a high part of this mountain, you will see the Mediterranean at the end, and you will see the Pyrenees, which border with France in the north. So it's really a promontorium, privileged promontorium, from where you see the whole land of Catalonia. And at the same time, you can visit the monastery area, which is the holy place for Catalan people near Barcelona. So this is all what I talked to you about. Penedès region in the left, Montserrat, Girona, and Dali Figueres.
Thank you very much, Jordi. Oh,
sorry.
No, I thought you were finished. Yeah, we forgot the hotels.
And where would I stay in Barcelona, which is the base camp? Of course, Almanac is a jewel in the heart of the city, very well located, lovely rooms, nice. It's a privilege, the corner where they are in the city. So it's totally recommendable, with excellent food and excellent service. This is the rooftop that Dominic is also usually showing when we talk about Spain. It's a beautiful place to be. This is a view of one of the junior suites. But also some people would say, well, I don't want a 5-star. I prefer rather to be in a 4-star hotel. We recommend Gallery Hotel, which is very functional, lovely service, very familiar. It's a hotel with 90 rooms, and then it has an incredible rooftop, very popular in the city of Barcelona. But we also have the Alma Hotel, which is another 5-star. It's an oasis of peace, very small. Maybe it has 40 rooms total in this hotel. It's very special and next to La Pedrera building by Gaudí. And this is really an oasis in the heart of the city. This is the restaurant where you have the breakfast, lunch, or dinners in this hotel. Or you can also choose another 4-star, which is Casa Mimosa, that we recommend very much. This is an interior part of the block of houses in Barcelona, and it's another small oasis of peace with rooms like this one and a rooftop that overlooks La Pedrera rooftop, which is next door. Also, another one is Condes de Barcelona, 4-star if you wish. And all these hotels are less than 5 minutes one from the other. So they are all in the same area, and these are the ones that we would recommend for you to stay. This is Condes inside, a modern hotel with modern style rooms. And this is it. This is the itinerary in 15 days. We would love to adjust it to your needs, depending on the moment of the year that you visit. But with this, you will really get a very special experience of Spain. We are still missing other areas, but these are the essence and the flavor of what Spain is today. So thank you, Dominique.
Oh, thank you, Jordi. It was a wonderful tour, and I've even seen pictures I have never seen before, and very interesting, I have to say. And as you said, if somebody has done one of the area, you can just do 2 of them or 1 of them. So it's really, so I feel you have shared a lot of your secrets, and I'm really grateful. And what a fascinating tour. I've, can't wait to discover some of the things I don't know. I don't think it's only for first timer. The way you describe it and the way you're gonna go through the city and the surrounding is wonderful. Thank you very much.
Next time we will talk about the northern part, which is another world.
Perfect. We'll do that. We'll meet again for our next webinar. Thank you very much, Jordi. Okay. It was a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.